What's going on, TheCoreofU family? We are the community of restoration and enlightenment. I'm Kenneth Page, and this is my beautiful wife, Bianca. We're glad that you can join us today on this Friday, March 12th. We hope that everything is well with you, that you and your family are safe. And as always, we hope that you have peace in your heart and in your homes. No, Reg, that's my wife. That's my sister. That was my sister singing the song, though, if that's what you're talking about. What's going on, man? So today, for the community of restoration and enlightenment, our Friday conversation. Our Friday conversation is being mindful of the people in your life who frequently make withdrawals, but they slack on making deposits.
That's right.
So people on your life that are always pulling, always taking, always, they're not there when you need them for support, but they're always looking for support. I mean, and this could go many different ways, right? People that always, borrow money but never give it back, pay you back.
Right.
People that, I guess steal or borrow your time but never give any of their time to you when you need them most.
That's right. Ask for prayer but don't pray back.
That's a good one.
Asking just for resources, whatever it might be, for you to show up for them. But you may not feel like you can depend on them when it's time to have your back.
So what do you do, man? What do you do for those people in your life that are known for withdrawing, taking, but never giving, never depositing? What do you do with those people? Do you and this, for a lot of people, that the ultimate answer, I guess, is up to you, depending on who the person is and how well you really want them around in your life. Or I don't know, they could be a family member sometimes.
That's the thing. Sometimes you can't choose who it is. It can even be a colleague or a coworker. Like you always having to pull their weight, because of one thing or another. So once you recognize it's happening, you have to try to take measures to protect yourself, right?
No
to
doubt.
guard your resources. There are some instances where what if it's the balance of power? Like it's somebody that like you respect, or it could even be a parent, or like you said, somebody in the family.
Right. Or maybe like a boss or something, right?
Right.
That they're always taking but never giving, And that's tough because I know when I was younger, I was a pretty passive person, just easygoing, kind of go with the flow. Mm-hmm. And not that I'm not, cool and easygoing and go with the flow now, but I'm very protective of my space, my energy, my spirit, right? And most important, my time. Time is so important.
Time is everything.
Time is more valuable than money now, you know what I mean?
Yes,
so,
it is.
And it's not that I feel like I'm better than anybody. You don't want to come off as that. But if your time is important to you, as I value my time and my energy and my space, then I want to make sure that I spend it doing things that are going to add value to my life or that I enjoy. Mm-hmm. Even if it's a day where I'm really not doing anything that's of anything significant, maybe I'm just relaxing. I would like to do that with the person that's going to really allow me to relax. You know what I mean? You don't want that person taking your whole day and talking your ear off when you're trying to just relax.
Yeah, because some people don't get the cues. Somebody don't get the cues, and you just have to create boundaries. I believe
that's it.
Boundaries. So as soon as you recognize it's happening, the way you would know it's happening is how do you feel when you're around certain people. If you feel depleted, then that's a signal that it's happening.
Every time once they leave your presence, right? Yes, you feel just emotionally and spiritually drained, like you were just around a vampire or something, right?
Right. If you're around someone and every time you're out of their, when you're in their presence, you might be plugged in, but once you're away from that energy, you're like, oh my God, I feel like a sense of relief. Mm-hmm. That's a sense of when it's happening.
No doubt.
Or when you're like, okay, I can't pick up this call right now because I don't have time to deal with it.
Or the energy.
That's a signal to yourself. Like, wait a minute, why do I feel that way? Because sometimes we get into power dynamics with people, and you just do what you've always done, so you don't even realize. that is happening. Oh, I love what Rose said. She said, or if you get really sleepy.
Yeah.
I didn't even think about that as a signal.
So
that
every time, it's like y'all just went for a run and y'all were just talking, right?
Right.
And you just like totally, completely drained. And yeah,
that's a good one. Thank you. If anyone else has signs, please share them, because that's a good one.
But you definitely, so what I found in life is this, that you, like you said, you definitely have to set boundaries and limitations. We set boundaries and limitations. We have boundaries and limitations for our relationship. There are certain things that we're just not going to go for. We're not going to allow to happen. We're going to speak up and pull each other on the carpet for. There are certain things we won't allow our children to do because there's boundaries and limitations, right? So all of these things we set, there's certain jobs we will take, and there's certain, if somebody asks you a bunch of questions, right? What would you do? Would you do this for money? You'll get to a place where there's going to be certain boundaries or limitations of what you would or not do. I don't care how much it is, right? So if we have all these limitations and boundaries, then you should certainly set those parameters in your life for your space and your energy. And anybody in your life that can't respect boundaries and limitations are probably people that wouldn't adhere to them anyway. If they get upset, if you say, no, I have some boundaries here and there, I'll do this, but I'm not going to do all of that or that. And they just totally disregard it or get upset or get mad or,
note to self, right?
Walk away. Definitely note to self to say, okay, so this is a person that probably was going to just do whatever they wanted to do anyway. Do I need that in my life? Do I even need that energy?
Yeah. And I have a couple of situations coming to mind where I can't, especially in this environment, I can't have too much naysayers or people that because that's a form of drain to me. And so
so the negative,
and so for me, I have to also, my vibration is important. So if someone is always looking at the cup half empty, then now I can't be my free self. The other thing is, I'm still working through being comfortable shining my light when I feel like other people are going through a rough patch. So I am trying to navigate, and what I mean by that is just sharing.
Okay.
Sharing what could be good news when I know someone else is having a rough time. So I hold back. But at the same time, that's going to make me not really want to let that person be as close to me during that period, because if they're close, they're gonna know what's happening. So I end up being more in a support role in those instances.
But that seems so unfair though, to you, because if we always talk about walking in our authenticity, being who we are. So if there's great news and there's things that you've done, great accomplishments, you should be able to celebrate that and announce that, especially with the people in your circle of trust.
I agree. I just don't know is there a time where sometimes it's not appropriate. Like, obviously, if somebody is really going through, and at this time, it seems like a lot of people are going through for a long time. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And, myself included, with certain people close to me in terms
I mean, I think you want to be respectful of their space too. That right. I was getting ready to say the same thing, Rose. That's a tough spot to be in. Yeah, because let's say you get a raise. Let's say you get a promotion and a raise, and your best friend loses their job on the same day. So you're like, now there are certain people in your circle, and I have certain people that would be like, this happened to me. Tell me, I want to know. You know what? That's fine. We're gonna go celebrate you today.
That's right.
We'll cry over what happened to me tomorrow. Let's go dance and celebrate what happened to you, because I know the work that you put in. I've been there with you, the blood, the sweat, the tears. Those are the kind of people that you really want in your life, and then you be respectful enough that maybe the next day, and I'm just saying the next day or maybe the next couple of days, then you guys maybe go and you cry over that, or you help them out with their resume, or try to get them, whatever you can do to help get them back on, until you pick each other up. So those are the kind of people you should want in your life, But everybody, and I say it all the time, you really have to be mindful of the people that don't applaud when you get great news.
Yeah.
People in your life that don't applaud. There are some people that will sit back with their arms folded and just kind of look. Now, when they have great things, they want you to cheer and go to the bar with them and drink and dance and celebrate and have balloons out. But then when you have good news, they're kind of just, with their nose turned up.
So, speaking of that, how did you set the boundaries once you realize there's somebody in your camp that is withdrawing more than they're depositing? How do you personally set the boundaries?
I absolutely have to. I would have to talk about it. We have to talk about this and let them know. And then the first sign is this: if they're not willing to even talk about it, then those probably ain't my people anyway. You know what I mean? So then, if they're willing to talk about it, then you say, hey, I noticed this happened. When this happened to me, or I told you about this, and I was happy, and it was something that I really wanted to share with you because it meant a lot to me. I wasn't expecting you to do cartwheels, but you just kind of blew it off, and we ended up on a problem that you were going through instead of you allowing me to have my space in my moment.
Some people always make it about them, no matter what.
That's another. You got to watch those people too. Those are some more people that do a lot of withdrawals and not depositing. Anything you say, whether it's good, bad, or indifferent, somehow it turns into something about them. Now, actually, when we were talking, I was watching this thing. What are your pet peeves? That's actually one of my pet peeves.
No matter what you talk about,
it always turns back to that person.
Yeah.
You be like, well, wait a minute now. You like, wait a minute. I was telling you about myself, and my children, and it turned on you. And you ain't even got kids. How did this get on you?
Well, and for me, for certain people, if that's their character makeup, then I might not get to the conversation. I might just put them as part of my boundary. I might just put them in a certain block where we can only have so much interaction.
There's only certain things we can talk about.
I'm not in the business of trying to change you. I'll try to inspire you, or I will let you know. But if I just realize like this is who you are, then I gotta kind of compartmentalize. And that doesn't mean I'm gonna totally dismiss, but I definitely have to put in the appropriate box.
So as your uncle often says, people have just as much right to do wrong as you do doing right, right? Mm-hmm. So you respect them about it. You say, okay, well, since I know this is who you are, I'm going to allow you to be who you are, but you got to do that over there. And I'm going to take mine, I'm going to do mine over here. Yeah. And we'll meet and we'll interact when space and energy allows. But if it doesn't allow, it doesn't call for it, I'm not going to go out of my way. I'm not going to force myself. And you have to be careful. So like for you have, and we talked about this before, you have like a fix-it spirit.
Oh, yeah.
Sort of a little bit, and men, we do it with our women, and I used to do it, and I'm learning, I'm still learning. I don't have it down. Men, we have a fix-it spirit that anytime your wife or your significant other comes in, or, a woman that you really care about is going through something, we just want to fix it. When sometimes all they really want us to do is listen, right? So if you're in that kind of situation, if you are a person that's kind of have a fix-it spirit, you really have to protect your energy, because you'll always be trying to put out everybody else's fires and help fix them. And sometimes they need to, maybe, how when we were young, you would fall and your dad would just say to you, mom would try to pick you up, and dad would say, let him get up on his own. He'll be all right. He's going to learn. Sometimes you need that in your life. You absolutely need people that will pick you up and hug you and rub you and rub your wounds. But you also need people to say, get up. You're fine. Mm-hmm. It's not that bad,
Yeah.
Toughen up a little bit. Yeah. So what do you do? How do you protect yourself with that? With being a fix-it person?
Sometimes I literally tell myself, just listen. Sometimes people just need you to listen. They don't need you to talk back. They don't need you to come up with a solution. And I'll say, don't wait until you're invited. Like, don't know. So, but I'll have that. I'll be like, okay, when that wheel starts to turn, because I do know I have that spirit, I'm literally saying, dial it back. You don't have to fix this. They just maybe want somebody to listen.
Right.
So, and if I catch it and I start going into that mode, then, sometimes it's too late, but, and I'll know that because I'll get off the phone or I'll in the interaction and my shoulders feel heavy. And I'm like, okay, now I done carried this. Now I done took this spiritually on, and I probably come talk to you or go write it down in my prayer book and just say, God, take this from me. Case in point, this morning Ken got up before me and he was saying that he noticed something was going on with his knee. Well, out of my cold sleep, I started like, okay,
Lord.
why don't you go get the CBD rub?
Yeah,
I was like, you need me to go get you a brace after work? Like, I went into fix-it mode.
She was about to have the hospital come to the house.
So that was a point where you were probably just sharing, and I just went all the way into, fix it.
Yeah, and I was just telling you, just so if you see me fall down these stairs, then you know. Then you know why.
Now I gotta worry about you falling down the stairs.
Then you know why. That's all. I'm just telling you. Hey, I'm getting older, so things don't move the way they used to. But no. But seriously, you have to really be careful. You have to be mindful of that. Then you have those situations where you're like, okay, I'm just gonna listen. And they come in and they just give it all to you. And they like, you're not saying anything.
Well, I've done that to you before. I have definitely
You're not responding. I want to hear something. And so you like, so remember, it goes back to that, man, the elderly, our elderly sitting at the wisdom, time, spending time with people, you begin to learn and know that. Like we 12 years in and I'm learning that more and more, knowing like, okay, she's just having a moment where she just wants to just release. Go ahead. And I'll be that sounding board and I'll be that. And you get done and I may hug you and we go on and move.
Right.
And you figure it out and get it on your own. But then sometimes you're like, no, I want feedback and I'm learning. I'm learning your, the tone of your voice or the way you say it or when you say it, all of the things that are going on. So that's the time part that we have that we learn. And so I guess that's why friendships are so valuable. When you have a friend that you've had a friend, you've been friends with them for years. When y'all were younger, maybe you went to elementary and junior high and college, you guys have been through some things together. You had to pass some tests together. Maybe you almost got in trouble together. Maybe you did get in trouble together. You guys had to go through that shame together and now you're out and you're better and you're okay. Things like that. That time, I think, lends to those moments where you really begin to know who your people are. Yeah,
and I would also say that time helps you to just be vulnerable. Like, I have a couple friendships where we'll just pick up and say, oh, I'm having a moment. Can I have a moment with you? Mm-hmm. And then you can either cry, pray, or just talk it out.
Cuss, scream, do whatever you need to do,
and
right?
And then you get past your moment. So you're right that there definitely is that factor of knowing the person, friend or a significant other. So
yeah, but we're really talking about just being mindful of those people who always withdraw. And when if you've been to a bank, you know what I mean. They're always taking, always looking for a handout, always looking for something. But they never deposit anything. It's in life. And ups and downs, all of these things should be, your interaction should be reciprocal. It should be equal. Now, there are going to be days when you give more. There are going to be days when you receive more. But at the end of if you want to equate it or, calculate it up, it should even out for the most part. Yeah. Even if right now you're the one or your friend is the one or your significant other is something that they're really going through something tough. And you can look back and say, you know what, when I went through my situation, they were there for me. So I'm going to do everything in my power to be there for them. And I think that's the beauty of life and of friendships and connections and interactions that we have with one another. I have a partner, I don't know if he's on, but, we were in the military together and stuff like that. And life took us away and now we've reconnected, and he has a family and I have my family. I can't wait till we get together and hang out and have our family, put our families together. But we had been through some things, going through basic training and going through all of that. And going through military and doing stuff like that together. So because we went through all of that military, when we were stationed together and did all of that, there's a friendship there that's been created that we need to make sure we keep nurturing and cultivating. You know what I mean? So those are the things I think are great with life. And as I always say, that's the beauty of having good people in your life, that you don't have to go through the downs or the ups by yourself.
Yeah, and you can pick back up right where you left off. I was just talking to Shannon when I was getting fussed at for you being late on my way in. Mm-hmm. And we can go months and then you just pick right back up. Yeah. And that's beautiful to be able to just have that space and then you're like, okay, I don't have to go through a whole bunch. I can just get in, talk to you, check on you, know you all right. So people, we want you to pay attention to how you feel around certain individuals in your life. If you can't have a conversation with someone who is withdrawn and not depositing, then that's a sign that you need to reposition them. And I literally say, God, show me how to put people in their proper place in my life, and show me, reposition them and keep me intact and keep them intact.
No doubt.
Because I want people to be in their proper place in my life, and for it to not be disruptive. And if it's a family member or someone that has power over you and they're always taken, then you need to kind of be strategic about it, but insulate yourself from them withdrawing from you.
Yeah. Insulate, and sometimes you even have to isolate, to get away. You really, really do. But yep, that's the Core of You Friday conversation for today. Being mindful, once again, of people that always withdraw, but they slack or lack on making deposits. People that are always taking and just never give. And there are those people out there. They are everywhere.
And make sure you're not the one.
I was just ready to say that. You got to make sure you're not the one. If you are the one, you want to check in and make sure that, and you can ask your friends, hey, do I reciprocate in this friendship? Am I, what do you feel about me? And they'll tell you. If they're good friends, they should be able to tell you and let you know where you guys stand, with the hopes that you guys don't fall out. And it may be take the blinders off, and you might be like, wow, thanks for letting me know. I didn't know I was that kind of person.
Yeah.
I thought I was a good friend, but I see that I'm not,
Right. Absolutely.
All right, y'all. So, Core of You, Community of Restoration, Enlightenment. Follow us on Facebook, IG. We have a website, CoreofU. And you can also catch us on YouTube, Core of You, Community of Restoration and Enlightenment. And we do these every Friday. For the next several weeks, we're going to be really getting into some deep, some spiritual conversations, some things like this. So you talk about how you can really protect yourself, or, go out and how you maneuver and move in life. We're going to really get into it. So we hopefully that you'll be with us for the next several weeks, as on Fridays at 6 p.m. Pacific time, 9 p.m. Eastern time. We holler at y'all later. Peace.
Peace and love.